How can we change the us versus them thinking, and how can we eliminate stereotypes? That's the idea behind Them, Images of Separation, a traveling exhibit at the Harriet Beecher Stowe Center in Hartford. The exhibit takes a shocking look at stereotypes and other forms of discrimination. Here to tell us more is Catherine Kane, the director of the Harriet Beecher Stowe Center, which is, of course, in Hartford. Thank you for being here, Catherine.
Thank you, Teresa. Happy to be here.
First, let's talk a little bit about Harriet Beecher Stowe. She's from Connecticut.
She was born in 1811 in Litchfield, Connecticut. Connecticut's first lady of literature is one of the names I give her. She died also in Connecticut, in Hartford, the house that we have, but in between lived many places.
And her father was a religious man?
Her father was Lyman Beecher, and he was a well-known fire and brimstone minister in Connecticut and had 11 children, raising them all to have an impact in the world. They believed that they could make a contribution to the world, and most of them did.
And it's a museum. I remember going there on class trips.
That's right.
It's very popular, one of the top 10 exhibits in the state here.
Exactly.
So we're going to talk about this traveling exhibit. It's been there for most of the summer. We still have about a week to get to see it. Some of the images we're going to see are kind of graphic, but it's important, you say, to recognize them and acknowledge them.
Exactly. And of course, one reason we're doing this is Stowe wrote Uncle Tom's Cabin, the best-selling novel of the 19th century, which changed American attitudes before the Civil War. But that also means that we're programming around stereotype Uncle Tom. Just by opening the doors, we're talking about stereotypes. So this is an exhibit to illustrate to people that stereotyping and racism and gender issues are not in the past, they're still with us.
It's still happening. All right, the first picture we want to see is the Booker T Motel. Let's put that up here.
So the Booker T Motel just talks about, it's from the era of Jim Crow segregation in the South. Makes it graphically clear that if you were a person of color, you could only stay certain places.
It's just so surprising. We were talking before we went on air here. I lived in Louisiana. I worked in Louisiana before I came back to Connecticut, covering Ku Klux Klan rallies. I mean, this is 4 or 5 years ago, so it is still relevant. It is still happening. I don't think people realize that.
All this is still happening. This is an exhibit from Ferris State University in Michigan, where they have the Jim Crow Museum of Racist Memorabilia. So it's an exhibit we borrowed from them, running through next Monday at the Stowe Center. But of course, that's the whole point, that the stuff, we're not done with this yet. It's not history, it's happening right now.
And this is something that just came off of the internet, this T-shirts.
Yes.
This is a good example that people actually think this. I don't know, but this is a current item, let's say.
Well, imagine wearing this T-shirt, or even going shopping for it. Some people are alive because it's illegal to kill them. Imagine having that kind of attitude, even if you think it's funny. What kind of person would do that?
Need to be educated a little more. Whites only beyond this point. Is this where is this from?
This is a this came also off the internet. This is a white supremacist piece that was used recently, and under it is another one, help wanted, no Irish need apply, and that one comes from the earlier 20th or 19th century.
Okay, and let's continue to look at some of the pictures here. We have something, trash-talking dolls. Actually, we'll talk about this first.
So these are license plates or tags you put on your car that stereotype different kinds of people, from an attractive woman stereotyped to a Native American to Lyndon Baines Johnson about the time of the Civil Rights Voting Act passing, represented as a possum.
And this can't be good because children play with dolls. Right?
Right. So it's using the idea of dolls in a supposed to be humorous way. So these are called trash-talking dolls from the 1990s. You could buy them on the internet. I haven't checked to see if you can buy them today. I'm kind of afraid to. But you touch these dolls and they have little chips in them that talk to you and say extremely uncomfortable things based on what kind of stereotype they are.
I see. And you have a clipboard at the Harriet Beecher Stowe house.
Well, part of this experience is it's not necessarily an easy experience, and it evokes memories. So we made a place for people to sit down with the people they're visiting with to talk about these issues, and with a bulletin board with questions on it. Have you ever been followed through a store while you're shopping? Have you been harassed because your educational level is different than other people's? Have you been harassed because of your race or ethnicity? So people make anonymous responses and put them up, and then the rest of us can read these anonymous responses
and still hit the point home that it is still happening.
It's totally still happening.
All right, let's put the information up on the screen. It's really an eye-opening exhibit. It runs through September 3rd, so you still have a chance to see it. Them, Images of Separation, through September 3rd. It's a traveling exhibit at the Harriet Beecher Stowe Center, 77 Forest Street in Hartford, right next to the Mark Twain House. It's pretty easy to get to.
Mark Twain is right next door to the Stowe Center.
Oh, easy enough. There you go. And of course, the website was right on your screen. Catherine, thank you so much for being here and sharing.
Thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
All right.